Well, happy Thursday, everyone. First day of the NFL season, which is exciting. Beautiful weather out there, and got some time with God this morning, which was great. And I hope you all are having a great day as well. I'm really excited to bring you a review of the knife I'll be carrying at my wedding this Saturday. This is the one that my fiance Lauren purchased without really any input from me. It arrived yesterday via Amazon, and yeah, this is the Spyderco. I actually mispronounced it. It's Pochi, and yeah, you can see it's a very unique, very stubby little knife. You know, as I mentioned, my hand's pretty big, and it just kind of absorbs this little knife. So yeah, anyway, let's go ahead and get started. So in terms of blade steel, this guy comes with S45 VN, which is what Chris Reeve has switched most, if not all, their knives to. And I believe Spyderco is now using this on their PM2s. I don't have a lot of experience with S45 VN. I know a little bit about it. I know it's basically an S35 VN with elevated properties. Just kind of a modification of that steel, which is, it's well known, has been used on a lot of knives, and you know, honestly, it's very proven in the industry. So S45 is just sort of a step up from that. It was a little bit difficult giving it a rating. Just in the past, you know, like 204P, M390, stuff like that, I've rated a 10. S90V, I believe I've given a 9, or I would give a 9. LMAX, I gave actually an 8 on the Shirogorov. So for this steel, I gave it an 8. The Impinda, I gave an 8 as well. However, I think Chris Reeve, their processing of the steel is slightly better, or at least I've heard, than other manufacturers, so I would trust that's the case. So I think that Impinda still deserves an 8 for blade steel. But this one, I mean, I'm sure Spyderco is fine. I'm assuming, I believe they do their own in-house heat treatment. But I really wanted to give it like an 8.5, but I don't do half ratings. So anyway, for blade steel, I gave it an 8, but it's, you know, I would consider it slightly above that. In terms of the clip, this guy has a very unique clip. You can see it's a blue anodized titanium clip, unique to this knife, has this little paw print in it, and retention is very, very good. This is a very stout clip. And yeah, it's just, looks nice, very classy. Doesn't leave a ton of the knife sticking out of the pocket. You can see here a little bit of the pointed part of it toward the back. But yeah, I mean, I don't have any complaints about this clip. I haven't really had a chance to carry this knife since I purchased it, but just evaluating it now, it doesn't look like it would like thicker pants, but you know, I think appearance wise, it looks great. I think it would work under most circumstances. So I gave the clip a ranking of 7. Moving on to lock type, this is a frame lock or Reeve integral lock. And you have to excuse me, I'm having a little trouble with my voice here. But yeah, so it's a frame lock here. Lockups at about 65%. But yeah, just slide the lock bar over to disengage and it closes the knife. You can see here it has an over travel stop with this, I don't know if you call it, it's just around the pivot, this little disc here. It's also anodized blue. So yeah, this guy has a Reeve integral lock that keeps the blade secure. In terms of materials, everything on this knife is very, very nice. So I've kind of mentioned the blue anodized titanium for the clip, the little, I'll explain this in a minute, the feature back here, and this over travel stop around the pivot. The scales are titanium, no backspacer, but it has phosphor bronze washers here as well as around the pivot, which is nice. You can kind of see them in there. So yeah, materials on this knife are very, very nice. And for that reason, I gave the materials a score of a 9. In terms of size, as you could probably see when I was holding it, this guy is really small. So here's the Mannix that I typically do size comparisons with. So you can see here, this knife doesn't even make up the handle of a Mannix. And then the Buck 110 below it here. So again, doesn't even make up the handle, not even really close, to be honest. I don't think this guy would hardly make up the blade of either. So there's against the Mannix, and then against the Buck. Yeah, just a short little knife. The blade is under 2 inches long. Overall length, I'd estimate around 4 inches. So very compact. Also very lightweight because of the use of titanium. And yeah, just an easy carry, nice little size. Probably would function well as a secondary carry, and you know, would fit in your change pocket fairly well. So in terms of action, I was actually a little disappointed with the action on this. So I didn't necessarily expect this flipper tab to deploy the blade reliably, just because of the angle of the tab, and with, I don't know how to put it, the lack of travel of it. So you kind of push on it, gets the blade out about halfway, but that's it. So didn't really expect it to fully deploy it, but what I did expect was a smooth action, and this knife just doesn't have it. I don't know if you can hear it, but the action is, I mean, for a Taichung Spyderco, very gritty, not smooth at all. Just pretty disappointing, to be honest. I don't know if taking the knife down and cleaning it will help. I don't know if breaking the knife in will help. Just more flips, more usage, all that stuff. But yeah, just a disappointing action, to be honest. And so for those reasons, I gave it a rating of 5. I know Spyderco in the past hasn't exactly been known for their smooth actions, mostly with their flippers, but you know, still at this price point, this should be a lot better than it is. In terms of hardware, the pivot here is a T8, and then this screw here, and then the clip screws are T6s. Not bad, easy enough to work with, easy enough to disassemble. Should be plenty easy to maintain this knife. So I gave the hardware a score of 7. I don't really have any concerns with it. I mean, it could be better, the screws could be bigger, but I don't have any complaints. In terms of price, this is where I really knocked this knife pretty hard. This knife comes in at $189, which, you know, you get really nice materials, you get a unique design from a designer, which I should give a little bit of information on that. This was designed by a knife designer out of Japan. I'm blanking on his name right now, but there's his mark on the blade. And this is one of his most famous designs, and it's supposed to represent a dog. So you can see here the front and back legs, and then this feature here is supposed to be the tail. And as I showed in my reveal video, it'll actually stand up, which is hard to see since you're looking down at it. But yeah, it's a really cool design, very unique. And so anyway, I understand that there's some cost there using his design, nice materials, good blade steel. There's some anodization of titanium, machining of titanium. You can see here on the back, there's these cutouts on both sides. You know, the clip is unique, but still for $189, I just don't see it. The action should be better for sure. And even in that case, I would probably price this knife closer to like $140 or $150. So for those reasons, I gave it a score of a 4 on price. Just not coming in very strong in that category. And then in terms of quality, this is, I mean, even with the thinking about the high price, this is a really well-made knife. A little bit of lock stick here, and I you know, the action's not great. You can still kind of wrist flick it out. But the scales are machined nicely. Nice chamfering on the edges here. Blade's a little sharp, but not terrible. It kind of it kind of plays into the shape of the blade. These cutouts are nicely machined, not sharp at all. They cut down the edges really well. Over travel stop, clip, and the tail feature are all anodized really nicely. So yeah, I mean, really nice construction, materials, machining. You can see here the edge is very even. It's very sharp. One of the sharpest I've ever felt. So yeah, I gave it a score of an 8, just knocking it for the action and the lock stick, which the lock stick will come out as I use and carry this knife more. And then in terms of competition, man, there's not really a lot. Maybe the Spyderco McBee, but that's really all that's coming to mind right now. So yeah, just a really cool little knife. I'm really excited to carry it at my wedding. You know, it'll never get sold because of that. I was excited when I opened the box and I saw that this is one that Lauren had picked, so I think that's really cool, and we'll continue to do that in the future. I'm just gonna have her buy random knives and just see what shows up and unbox them and review them for you guys. So anyway, if you haven't subscribed, you know, please do. Please leave a like. Thanks a lot for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day. See you guys.